Rebbe looked at this man and said something that he probably did not tell most people. He says, I want you to take a cup of wine, koishel bracha, give it to your wife, but don't drink it now. When she's about to deliver the baby, that's when she should drink the wine. You have to wait all the way till the end of the pregnancy. When she's ready to give birth, so then she should drink the wine. He comes home, he's a modern Orthodox guy, and his friends ask him, did you get a blessing from the Lubavitcher Rebbe? He said, boy, did I get a blessing. I got a blessing and I got an instruction that my wife should drink wine in the delivery room. So his friend said, this is ridiculous and don't do it. So the Lubavitcher lady asked this woman, did you end up drinking the wine? He says, no, I didn't because it's crazy. So this Lubavitcher woman went home and she tells her husband that this woman told me two interesting things. A, that this boy that was born can't have children, and B, that she didn't listen to the Rebbe about drinking the wine. So the husband says, maybe they're connected. Maybe the Rebbe wanted that if she would have drank the wine, maybe this boy would have had children. Who knows? But what could we do now? This story happened mamish recently. Just about a year and a half ago. But the Hemshech mamish happened. So the husband said, wait a minute. We know that today people still have the wine from Koishel Bracha. Maybe tell the woman that she has nothing to lose. Go give the young man now wine from the Rebbe, and if he drinks the wine from the Rebbe, who knows? She says, but that's crazy. But what are we going to do? My husband's going to drink wine from the Rebbe. He says, you have nothing to lose. So this woman calls up her friend and says, where does your husband live? Where does your son live? He said, my son lives in New York. He says, I'm going to get you wine from the Rebbe's Koishel Bracha. You're going to take your son, and the next time you go to New York, you're going to go to the oil, and you're going to write a settle. And you're going to say, Rebbe, I made a mistake. I did not drink the wine b'shas, the way you told me when the child was supposed to be born. And it seems like that my son can't have any children. But I'm drinking your wine now, and do me a favor, give my son a bracha. Whatever bracha you wanted to give my son all those years ago, give him that bracha now. So with this emunah, this woman flew to New York. She called her son and said, come with me. They go, they write a settle. He drinks the wine. And 10 months later, a beautiful baby girl was born. Obviously, it's very, very geschmack to say very geschmackes stories of the Rebbe. Especially stories that didn't just happen by Yomim Haim, stories that happened Bisman Hazeh. But tonight's Farbrengen, which I have a hard time speaking, we need to speak more than stories. Tonight is very, very special. We are in a night that's surrounded with the number 7. We are in 770, in Shnas 5777. We are learning Ois Zayin of the Rebbe's, the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimer, which the Rebbe said is Kol HaShvi in Chavivin, and we are speaking about the beginning of Dor HaShvi. So I want to focus, and I'm going to be Mekatzer because Rabbi Mangel in a few minutes is going to be speaking to the Olam. I want to speak a very, very important inyan side for Anash, and side for Bachrim.
Rabbi said, please, Hab Rachmanis, Rabbi Avtzin is losing his voice. Use the mute button. מבקשים להגיד בלשון הקודש, בבקשה, שקט.
The following emergency meeting happened once in the silly village of Chelm. The Kol Zikni Anash of Chelm, they got together for an emergency meeting. What was the emergency meeting? They got a message from the Eibishter that they no longer could have the sun or the moon. They have to pick. Either they want the sun or they want the moon. So they had a vote, and they voted unanimously that they're going to get rid of the sun. So they came to Beis Din Shomayla, and they Beis Din Shomayla asked them, why did you decide to get rid of the sun instead of the moon? So they told them very simple, during the day we already have light. We don't need the sun anymore. There is a big mistake happening today in front of our eyes. Every single person laughs at the silly people of Chelm. But sometimes when we realize that we are the same people and we are making the same mistake, we have to realize that we have to adjust ourselves as well. I'm going to share with you a word that I heard from a younger man. He's called the Mashpia, and a very important word, and I think it's very appropriate to speak about tonight. In the Maimer Basi Legani, Tavshin Yud Aleph, the Rebbe says very clearly the following statement. And that statement is, as medarf the Inyan was monzich, the thing that's demanded from us, as mizol wissen, as mir seinen in Dor Hashvi. We have to know that we are in Dor Hashvi. What's the simple reason that the Rebbe said that statement? Because a lot of people still felt connected to the Frierdiker Rebbe, and therefore they had to be told that we are now in Dor Hashvi and not in Dor Hashishi. Today, we have to make sure we don't make the opposite mistake. Many people think that we moved on from Dor Hashvi, that we are a post-Dor Hashvi Hasidus. And tonight we have to remind everyone, as mir zayin in Dor Hashvi. Now everyone's looking at me, whoever can hear what I have to say still, and saying that nobody thinks that we are not in Dor Hashvi. But we have to realize that Dor Hashvi means Nasi Hashvi. You cannot have light if you don't have the sun. You can't have Dor Hashvi if you don't have the Nasi Hashvi. It's very important that we take a small nikuda and we internalize this very strongly. And that is, especially parents, the way they relate to their children, and mashpiyim, the way they relate to bachrim, is that it's not enough for a bacha to hear stories and iskashrus to a Rebbe that was, they have to see that we are living with the Rebbe that is. And I'll explain it in the words of the Maimer that the Rebbe said on Yud Shevat, Tavshin Lamed Zayin. In that Maimer, the Rebbe asks on the Medrash that the Medrash says that when Yaakov Avinu, before he passed away, the Shechina left Yaakov Avinu. And he felt that maybe something was wrong with his children. So he turned to his children and said, do you guys believe in the Eibishter? Maybe you're missing an Emunah. And the children answered, Kishem, she'ein b'libecha ela echad, kach b'libeinu einei ela echad. The same way in your heart, there's only one Eibishter, so too in our heart, there's only one Eibishter. Frek the Rebbe, he wasn't asking what's in his heart, he was asking what's in their heart. He asked them if they believe. He wasn't asking if he believed. So why did they answer, the same way in your heart there's one, so too in my heart there's one? And the Rebbe explains, because the only way that in the child heart there's one Eibishter is if it's in the father's heart there's one Eibishter. If there's not one in the father's heart, there will not be one in the son's heart. We as parents, we as mechanchim, have to show our children that the Rebbe is the Nasi HaNitzchi of Dor HaShvi, and that we live our lives by heroes that we receive from the Rebbe today. It's not enough. It's beautiful, but it's not enough for our children to hear stories that happened many years ago. Because all that happens is what happened to my son. Now I want to give full respect to the videos that show stories of the Rebbe from all the years. But my son, when he watched that video, he tells me, Tati, so where are the Nisim today? That's a very beautiful video. But I want the Rebbe today. So that's when we had the conversation. And obviously it demands more and more that we write to the Rebbe. When the child himself sees that the father lives with the Rebbe today, the father doesn't just say, oh, I once heard a story. He sees that when there's an issue, the father writes to the Rebbe, he gets answers from the Rebbe today, and Igris Kodesh, etc. When he sees that in the Mechanech and in the father, there's Bilibeinu Echad, that will make sure that in the heart of the child, there's also Echad. When the father sees, when the child sees, that by the father, the Rebbe left as the Nasi HaNitzchi, as Dor HaShvi, that will make sure that the Talmud and the child also feels and knows that we have a Rebbe in Dor HaShvi. It's not just we had a Rebbe from Tavshin Yud Aleph. We have a Rebbe in Tavshin Ayin Zayin. A Rebbe that you can write to, a Rebbe that you can connect to, a Rebbe that you get answers from, and a Rebbe that you live your life according to those answers. This is our avodah of Dor HaShvi. Today in Tilim, we said Pada B'Sholem Nafshi, and not just Yud Tes Kislev, and not just Yud Kislev. On Yud Shvat, we also said Pada B'Sholem Nafshi, because we merit that the Rebbe redeems our nefesh. The Rebbe redeems our neshama. And on Yud Shevat, we can connect with the Rebbe today. So l'chaim, l'chaim, we should have bilibeinu echad, so that in the hearts of our children, in the hearts of our talmidim, there should only be echad. L'chaim, l'chaim.
We're asking everyone to say L'chaim. We all know was a chassidische Farbrengen kenuft und kemalach Michael nishufton. Many stories about the power of a Farbrengen, let alone a Farbrengen on Yud Shevat, let alone a Farbrengen here in 770, let alone a Farbrengen with Tmimim, Bochrim. So everyone should say L'chaim for Refuah Shelema Ukroiva to Suli Shulamis Bas Izo Alizo. L'chaim. Also, this is the time we would like to thank Avshalom Doivber Drizin for donating the Farbrengen and for his continuous help to all the Farbrengen in 770, other Peulas. The Eibusha should send them Arichis Yonim Veshonim Teves Mitech Brius Nechoino. He should have Nachas from all of his children in Einiklach, Yiddische, Chsidische Nachas, Lange, Chsidische, Freiliche, Gesunte Joren. And this day of Yud Shevat, it's a good time to be miskasher with the Rebbe through Nigunim. We said before that a Nigun breaks through the language barrier. It doesn't make a difference which language you speak. A Nigun you can sing. We will sing together a Nigun from the Rebbe to be miskasher with the Rebbe. A Nigun that the Rebbe taught. Tov Shin Yud Beis. A Nigun of the Alter Rebbe. The Nigun Soma Lecha Nafshi. Soma Lecha Nafshi. Koma Lecha Besori. Yetzi Yove Yoyev Veli. No, no. Everyone join along. Ya ma 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 ma. Ma 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 ma. Ba koinesh chazi sichali uzcha uchvaydecha chazi sichali Jesus uchvaydecha Suzcha uchvaydecha amama. Is Rabbi Mangel here? Rabbi Mangel? Is Rabbi Mangel here? לפני הנואם הבא רציתי לספר סיפור. הוראה ששמעתי בשם מי שהולך לדבר פה, הוא כנראה ידבר באנגלית, אז אני אגיד את זה בעברית. הוראה מאוד פשוטה, מאוד חזקה, מאוד אקטואלית, מאוד עכשווית, מאוד נוגעת לכל אחד ואחד, לא משנה באיזה שפה הוא מדבר. שמעתי בשם הנואם הבא שפעם הוא התבטא על השיחות של הרבי בקשר לענייני משיח וגאולה. יש הרבה שיחות, כל מיני ביאורים, בניגלה, בחסידס, בעבודת השם. יש הרבה אנשים שמכירים את השיחות בעל פה, חלק מכיר חלק. אבל הוא אמר את הנקודה הבאה, ואת זה נראה לי שכל אחד יכול לקחת ללב וליישם בחיי היום יום. מה הנקודה המשותפת? מה הנקודה השווה מכל השיחות של הרבי בענייני משיח וגאולה? התשובה היא פשוטה, שתי דברים. שתי דברים. הרבי מתכוון עכשיו והרבי מתכוון אלינו. אלו שתי הדברים. הרבי מתכוון להביא את הגאולה עכשיו, כפי שרואים את זה גם בשיחה המפורסמת של יוד שבט תשל"ז, עכשיו ולא אחר כך, לא לדחות. והרבי מתכוון לכל אחד ואחת מבני ובנות ישראל, שאף אחד לא ישים את העבודה על מישהו אחר. הכוונה היא אליך והכוונה היא עכשיו. לאחרי ההקדמה הזאת נבקש מהנואם הבא, רבי מנדל גורדון, משפיע ראשי in Yeshivas Lubavitch in London, please, שפברנג with the olam.
L'chaim, l'chaim. Wherever Chassidim Farbrengen together on Yud Shevat, it's a davar barur that the Rebbe is present with us. Alachas kama v'kama, how much more so when we find ourselves in Beis Chayenu, in Beis Rabbeinu shebebavel,
in our Beis Hamikdash, the Rebbe's shul, obviously the Rebbe is present. So the obvious question is, in the Rebbe's presence, how can anybody open their mouth? And the teretz is that the Rebbe already spoke about this. The Rebbe said, Tavshin Yud, that the Rebbe is present, so l'chayre, how could we Farbrengen here because the Rebbe is present? And he said that this is what the Rebbe wants. The Rebbe wants that we should Farbrengen. And since the Rebbe wants that we should Farbrengen with Kabbalah Sil, we have to do what the Rebbe wants. Everybody knows what it says in Tanya, in Igeres HaKodesh, about Rosh Hashanah, that every year is an Chadash Shalei Haya Me'olam. Rosh Hashanah is not just a repeat performance from one year to the next, but it repeats itself in a Eifin Chadash Shalei Haya Me'olam. The Alter Rebbe says that out of Rosh Hashanah, the Eir of the previous year is withdrawn, and then through the Aveda of Yidden, through the Aveda of Tkiyas and the Tfilas of Rosh Hashanah, we're mamshich an chadash shalei haya me'olam. And in various places the Rebbe says that a similar concept is appropriate and applicable, but again other special days as well. So obviously when it comes to the Rosh Hashanah of Iskashrus, the day of Yud Shevat, Hayamim ha'ela niskarim v'naasim, befrat when we gather together to Farbrengen together Chsidim on Yud Shevat, on the day when we gave ourselves over to become the Rebbe's Chassidim, and the Rebbe gave himself over to become our Rebbe, it's not just a repeat performance each year, but it's Shaloi Be'erech. The Rebbe takes on the Nesius, the Rebbe takes on to be our Rebbe, to be our Melech. The whole new intensity, a new dimension of intensity, Shalei Haya Me'olam. And just like the first time, the way this was achieved was by the Ibergegebenkeit of Chassidim, as we know very well that the Rebbe was very hesitant to be Makabel the Nesius, and through the fact that Chassidim wrote Kisvei Iskashrus, and begged the Rebbe, and told the Rebbe that they will be Ibergegeben with their Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and Yechida. There was a whole process. It took an entire year until ultimately the Rebbe on Yud Shevat, Maitzoi Yud Shevat, just like now, Tavshin Yud Aleph, the Rebbe said the first Maimer Basi Lagani. Baruch Hashem, I see that everybody here has Kabbalah Seil, not just the person who's asked to speak has Kabbalah Seil to speak in the Rebbe's presence. Baruch Hashem, the whole Eilam has Kabbalah Seil, and alle Reden zusammen. It's a gewaltige Farbrengen. So it's obvious that when it comes Yud Shevat, each and every chassid has to renew our commitment to the Rebbe in a totally new manner, totally new dimension. Shalei Haya Me'olam, an Ibergegebenkeit to the Rebbe and everything that the Rebbe stands for. In a Eifen Shalei Haya Me'olam that were never before. And it's payal that the Rebbe should take on to lead us. And to be the Anoichi Eimed Benechem Lebein Hashem Elekeichem Lahagid Lachem Ezvar Hashem, to connect us to the Eibishter and to bring us forward towards the Geula Amitis Vashleima with a new intensity. Yud Shevat Tovshin Ayin Zayin has never happened before. And what's happening today, Yud Shevat Tovshin Ayin Zayin, Saimel Matol Amayla, that Chassidim give themselves over to the Rebbe in an Eifen that was never before. And that the Rebbe gives himself over to Chassidim in an Eifen that was never before. This is the first time in history that we have Yud Shevat Tovshin Ayin Zayin. In the Maimer that the Rebbe said 40 years ago tonight, today and tonight, Tovshin Lamed Zayin, Yud Shevat was Shabbos. The Rebbe said a Maimer Shabbos by day by the Farbrengen. He said the Maimer again, Maitzoi Shabbos by the Farbrengen. he was Magia the Maimer in a very interesting way. I think this is the only time that the Rebbe was Magia Maimer in such an Eifen. There were two Maimarim, and they were both Muga together as one Maimer. The Maimer that the Rebbe said, Meitzai Shabbos, is on top of the line, and the Haisafis that were Shabbos by day is on the bottom of the line. And I'm sure that most of the people in this room, Meshach the Yemei HaChana to Yud Shevat, have learned this Maimer and are familiar with this Maimer. So the Rebbe in the Maimer speaks about the Yud. The Yud that the Frierdiker Rebbe speaks about in the 7th Ois of Basi Lagani, Tavshin Yud, he speaks about the Ois Yud. The difference between the Reish and the Dalet. The Reish is an Ois, which is on the side of Klippa. The Dalet is on the side the side of Kedusha, and the Avodah is to transform the Reish into a Dalet. What's the difference between a Reish and a Dalet? The Rebbe tells us the difference between a Reish and a Dalet is the Yud. The Yud in the back of the Dalet. What's the Yud? So the Rebbe begins by saying that the Yud is the inyan of Aziris Garma, of being mevatel oneself. Siyado les lo megarma klum. Absolute bittul. Further in the Maimer, the Rebbe says that what inspires us to be mevatel ourselves to the Eibishter. So the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, what inspires us to be mevatel ourselves to the Eibishter? Kamayim aponim leponim. We look at the Eibishter, just like the Eibishter. Hiniach eirei hagadol al atzad. Betchila eirin sof was memalei kol makam achol. First there was only eirin sof everywhere. And the Eibishter b'shvil avas Ama Yisrael, because of his love for Klal Yisrael, the Eibishter was mitzamtzim his eir hagadol. Hiniach eirei hagadol al atzad. He placed his great light on the side, put everything to a side, and focuses to be able to create a world where Klal Yisrael will be able to make for the Eibishter Adira B'Tachtonim. So B'Shvil Abbas Ama Yisrael, the Eibishter was mitzamtzim himself, an absolute tzimtzum, in order to connect with Ama Yisrael. So the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, and the Rebbe quotes it in the Maimer of Basi Lagani Tavshon Lamed Zayin, that Kamayim Aponim Leponim, when we see how the Eibishter was Maniach Eirei Hagadol Al Atzad, B'Shvil Abbas Ama Yisrael, it inspires us to be mevatel ourselves, absolutely, to put away everything, whatever we have a tendency to be interested in, whatever we have a tendency to be excited about, whatever we have a tendency to be focused on, we put everything aside, and we dedicate ourselves and devote ourselves in ganzen completely to the Eibishter and to his Avodah. Tonight is Yud Shevat. It's the Yom Tov of his Kashrus. So l'cha'ira, this musig, this concept applies by us just the same. What inspires us on Yud Shevat and every other day of the year to put everything aside and devote ourselves absolutely to the Rebbe and everything that the Rebbe stands for? We look at the Rebbe and we see how the Rebbe put everything aside to devote himself to us. Kamayim aponim leponim. We look at how the Rebbe put all his inyanim aside and devoted himself b'shvil avas Klal Yisrael and avas Achsidim. We had a Yid in London called Rebbe Ephraim Hager Olav Hashalom. He was a Rebbe She'enikol, Hager Mishpacha. He came the first time to the Rebbe. So in Yechidus he told the Rebbe about he says Enikol from a certain Rebbe. So the Rebbe asked him if he has a picture of that Rebbe with him. So he said yes. The Rebbe showed it to the Rebbe looked at it. The Rebbe asked him if he can keep it. Then the Rebbe said to him, do you know what a Rebbe is? So if the Lubavitcher Rebbe asks you, do you know what a Rebbe is? Anybody with a little bit of seichel keeps quiet and waits to hear what the Rebbe will say. So the Rebbe said to him, the first Rebbe was the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov never went to sleep at night, Kolzman, as long as there was still money in the house. As long as there was still money in the house that hasn't been given away, the Baal Shem Tov didn't go to sleep. In other words, the Rebbe explained to him, what's the inyan of a Rebbe? A Rebbe is someone who gives himself away completely for Klal Yisrael. There's no self whatsoever. that's the definition of a Rebbe, the way the Rebbe defined what a Rebbe is. And we don't have to look far. We see in the Rebbe's Hanhage continuously this tenuah, that the Rebbe gave himself up completely for us. I mentioned the other day, I was watching once a video of the Rebbe with one of my children many years ago. And in the video we saw the Rebbe's car coming back from the Ohel with the sirens, with the cars in front with the siren. The Rebbe's car is coming back from the Ohel, Shvat the Mincha, the whole works. So my son turns to me and he says, Tati, the Rebbe's coming back from the Ohel to daven mincha. It's dark outside. You look at the video, you see it's dark outside. What's going on? He doesn't know you daven mincha when it's dark outside. So how do I explain it? I didn't realize, but by us was a davar apashut. So I explained to him very pashut. I said the Rebbe's standing by the Ohel. He sees it's starting to get dark. It's time to go back to 770 to daven mincha. Aber there's a Yid who has a problem, and he gave the Rebbe a zettel, and the Rebbe wants to be mispal for this Yid. So the Rebbe should put his interest of getting back on time for mincha ahead of this Yid's needs. The Rebbe completely nullifies himself for the needs of Klal Yisrael and for the needs of Rabbi Yisrael, for every single Yid. We heard an incredible thing. Rabbi Zeilengold spoke on the Living Torah this week. And he told an incredible story how Yud Shevat, after davening with the Rebbe Meiriv, and there was Greste Giluyin. He was talking Tafshin Yud Zayin, I think he said it was the early years. He davened Meiriv in 770 and he went home to his parents' house on Bergen Street. And he's thinking to himself, what is the Rebbe doing now? And suddenly the phone rings and it's Reb Leibel Groner on the phone. He said the Rebbe, he asked if his father there. Anyway, the Rebbe asked him to call to ask his sister, Rabbi Zeilengold's sister at that time wasn't well. So the Rebbe asked him to phone to find out how is Rabbi Zeilengold's sister feeling. So on Yud Shevat, the Yom HaGadol V'Haneira, the day that the Rebbe is Mekabel the Nesius, the day that the Rebbe, we know in the Maimarim, quotes from the Baal Shem Tov and from the Maggid and from the Alter Rebbe and the Mittler Rebbe and the Tzemach Tzedek and the Rebbe Marash and the Rebbe Rashab and the Rebbe and the Frierdiker Rebbe, Kemuvim V'Gam Poshet. So the Rebbe is connecting with all the Rebbeim at the deepest level and being Mamshech Keiches to fit in Klal Yisrael. He puts everything aside to concern himself with one Jewish girl who isn't well. So when we look how the Rebbe gets sich avek v'yanem einem, and the Rebbe says all the Rebbeim are one Inyan. So es macht nicht aus if you illustrate this with a story of the Frierdiker Rebbe. I heard from Rabbi J.J. Hechtel when he came to London. It's a famous story, everybody knows, that when Rashag was in Toronto in Tavshin Yud Beis, he went to visit a certain Gvir who had promised a fortune of money to the Frierdiker Rebbe for the yeshiva. And Rashag went to collect the money, to collect the pledge. So he comes into this Gvir, and this Gvir tells him, I'm not giving you a penny. So Rashag says, why not? You made a pledge. So he said, I pledged the money to your shver, this is to the Frierdiker Rebbe, because he saved my son in the war, so I feel indebted to him, and therefore I pledged the money. But to you, I don't know anything, and again, the shver is passed on, so I feel I'm not obligated to keep my pledge. So Rashag was devastated. So he picked up a phone, and he phoned up the Rebbe. And he asked the Rebbe, was tut man da? What do you do in such a situation? Rashag had a chrayis to raise a fortune of money to keep Tem Chetmimim afloat. And here's something that he was counting on. And the man let him down, just like that. What should he tell him? So the Rebbe said, as Olam Zogen, as is the selbe neshama in anander guf. That it's the very same neshama in a different guf. So therefore, it's understandable what the Rebbe was saying, that his pledge to the Frierdiker Rebbe is as real now as it was before, because the Frierdiker Rebbe hasn't passed on. It's the same neshama in another guf. So all the Rebbeim are one Inyan. So to illustrate this point, I want to share an incredible story with the Frierdiker Rebbe that I once heard. I think I heard it from David Edelman, if I'm not mistaken. Frierdiker Rebbe was in Chicago, Tavshin Beis. Everybody knows Bikur, Chicago. Zayin Shvat, Tavshin Beis, the Frierdiker Rebbe traveled to Chicago. Frierdiker Rebbe came to Chicago. He was meant to be there he was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. And there was a plan including Farbrengens and Yechidus. Hundreds of Yidden were meant to go into Yechidus. There was supposed to be a dinner for raising funds for Teim Chetmimim. So it's a getan greise Sache. Frierdiker Rebbe arrives in Chicago, Zayin Shvat. That year the kvius was that Shabbos Shira, Shabbos Parshas B'Shalach was Yud Gimel Shvat. Frierdiker Rebbe, we know, had a mother, Rebbetzin Sterne Sarah. The Rebbe Shabbos Rebbetzin came to America with the Frierdiker Rebbe, and she lived in 770 in the Frierdiker Rebbe's apartment. There was the Alter Rebbetzin Zimmer. On Shabbos Shira in the morning, she was very weak, but she was very makbid on her shiurim of learning and davening, despite her weakness. Shabbos Shira in the morning, Rebbetzin Sterne Sarah tazaget on Heint is Shabbos Shira. Heint darf man gar anders davenen. Today is Shabbos Shira. Today one has to daven in a very special way. And she asked for her siddur, and lying in bed, she started to daven, and she davened and davened until she came to Nishmas. In Nishmas, her neshama ascended on high. She was nostalgic. Shabbos Shira in the morning. Frierdiker Rebbe, her only son, was in Chicago. Motzei Shabbos, obviously, they phoned Chicago, and they were meidiyah the Frierdiker Rebbe what happened. So naturally, what would you expect would be the first thing? Frierdiker Rebbe would get on the next train and come back to New York to make a levaya for his mother. Kemuvan v'gam pashut, obviously. A number of Rabbanim had a great dilemma. There were hundreds of Yidden in Chicago that were waiting to go into Yechidus to the Frierdiker Rebbe. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's difficult for us in 2017 to understand this musig that a Yid who lived in Chicago in 1942 never dreamt that he would ever come to New York. To go to New York was, for the average Yid in Chicago, was like to go to the moon. And the Frierdiker Rebbe wasn't coming back to Chicago so soon either. So for these Yidden, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Either they were going to have an opportunity to go into Yechidus to the Rebbe and have a life-changing experience, or Chas v'Sholom, they were going to miss the opportunity, and that would be it. So a number of Rabbanim went into the Frierdiker Rebbe, and they asked him if there's any, understanding the matziv, they said, is there any chance that you would consider, before you travel back to New York, receiving people for Yechidus? People are waiting to go into Yechidus. It's unbelievable. The Rebbe is an Einen. His mother passed away this morning. He has to rush back to New York to make a levaya. And they're asking the Rebbe if the Rebbe would consider receiving people for Yechidus, because these people are waiting for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What did the Frierdiker Rebbe answer? The Frierdiker Rebbe answered as follows. He said, since Beis Nissen, Tov, Reish Pei, the day of the Istalkus of my father, in other words, the day when the Frierdiker Rebbe became Rebbe, since the day of Beis Nissen, Tov, Reish Pei, hab ich nicht kein Deya auf sich. I have no opinion on myself. I don't express an opinion about what I should do. Whatever the Rabbanim will paskin, that's what I will do. Mind-boggling. Immediately there was an emergency meeting of the Rabbanim, considering the pros and cons, and they came, unbelievably, they came to the maskana that the Frierdiker Rebbe should stay in Chicago and should receive for Yechidus every last Yid who was waiting to go into Yechidus before he returns to New York. And the Frierdiker Rebbe sat there Motzei Shabbos as an Einen, and he received for Yechidus every Yid that was waiting to go in Motzei Shabbos. Sunday morning he took again Yechidus, and only Sunday afternoon did he get on a train to return to New York. He came back to New York so exhausted, so uizgemutzet, so ill and with a bad cold, that he was so exhausted and uizgemutzet that Monday, Levaya was postponed to Monday because of his absence. As you know that Nayim Yom Yud Gimel Shvat talks about that the yahrzeit is even the first year on the Yom HaPtira and not on the Yom HaKvura, because in this specific Ptira of the Rebbe Shtar Nesara, the Yom HaMisa and the Yom HaKvura were 2 days apart because of this delay in the Frierdiker Rebbe's return from Chicago. And he came back so ill and so exhausted that Monday morning by the Levaya, he only escorted the Aron out of 770, but he was too ill to go to the Beis Olam. He sent Reb Shmuel to say Kaddish by the Kvura in his stead because he was exhausted and ill from his trip to Chicago and the return and the Yechidus and everything that went with it. So I ask you, Rabbi Isai, just think for a moment what a Rebbe, the idea that the Rebbe gives everything away for us. Everything. There's no zich whatsoever. There's only Klal Yisrael. There's only Adas Achsidim. There's only Yidden who need to geholfen werden. Yeder Einebi and Yonday and Klal Yisrael that needs to be geholfen with a Geula Shleima. And that's what the Rebbe works non-stop. There's no other agenda to turn for Yenim, to turn for the Klal, to do for Klal Yisrael. So when we stop for a moment to think about how the Rebbe gets sich iber to Yidden, how the Rebbe gets sich iber to Chsidim, how the Rebbe gets sich iber to every one of us, surely that inspires each and every one of us, especially on such a heilige tag like Yud Shevat, and especially when it's the maimer about the Yud, about Aziris Garma, about being mevatel ourselves, and being obviously the union of Yud Shevat is to be miskasher ourselves and mevatel ourselves to the Rebbe's Ratzon. That we should have no agenda of our own. Our agenda should be Ibergeben sich zum Rebbe, to devote ourselves completely and absolutely to the Rebbe's Ratzon, to do what the Rebbe wants and not what our Nefesh Abamis wants, to Ibergeben to the Rebbe, B'chalev and Nefesh U'ma'oid, with the Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida, to be miskash ourselves to the Rebbe, Kedeboy, and by doing so, the Rebbe leads us with the entire Klal Yisrael straight to the Geula Shleima, and Yud Shevat and Yud Aleph Shvat, Yud Aleph of Yud Aleph will become the Yachaga Geula of Klal Yisrael, be taken out of Golus and be led to the Geula Shleima, to Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi, Umalkeinu Bereishenu, the Rebbe vet Nizgala and take it from Yad Mamish and Aguf Gashmi Lamata Masarot Tvachim, V'hu Yigalenu, take it from Yad Mamish, L'chaim, L'chaim.
Without further ado, Rabbi Mengel, the Rav of Congregation Ksav Sefer here in Crown Heights, he was out of town, he just came back a few moments ago. As we just heard the story about being tired, obviously we're not comparing to our Rebbe, Rabbi Mengel, even though he's tired, still he's going to Farbrengen with us. Every time he speaks, there's a lot what to hear. But Rabbi Isai, please, put the volume on down. Give your respect to Rabbi Mengel, the Rav of Congregation Ksav Sefer, which will speak to us, B'inyon the Yom, B'inyonim of Yud Shevat, is kashas to the Rebbe. Rabbi Mengel, please. Please, Rabbi Isai, keep it quiet, please.
One of the Yonim, the Chazal tell us Hashem doesn't reveal it to anybody, even to Tzaddikim. They also don't know it. One of the things is when a person passes away, a person goes away from this world, it's unexpected, nobody knows, even the greatest Tzaddikim. As the Chazal tell us, and actually David HaMelech himself says, Hadeni es kitzi, David HaMelech asked the Eibishter, tell me, my cats, when I'm going away. Hashem answered him, this is one of the things which nobody knows, I can't tell you. But Moshe, David HaMelech, kept on asking the Eibishter, I want to know when I'm going away. So the Hashem said, I tell you on a Shabbos, but which Shabbos, even you won't know. So the Gemara says, David HaMelech davened and learned the whole Shabbos in order the Malchamova shouldn't be able to come, take him away as the Shomer, but you can't outsmart the Eibishter. So the Eibishter made the Malach made that I call commotion. He stopped for a second learning, and on Shabbos he passed away. But until he passed away, himself didn't know which Shabbos is it. And even a tzaddik like David HaMelech did not know the day when he goes away. Yet Baal Shem Tov says, a tale for Baal Shem Tov, Yoda Shemesh Mevoyoi, the Shemesh knows when it sets, when it goes down. So Baal Shem Tov says Shemesh refers to the tzaddikim, a tzaddik, a very special tzaddik, and this very, very special tzaddik, the Chad Bedorah, this very special tzaddik, he Yoda Shemesh Mevoyoi, when he's going to pass away. Although not even David HaMelech knew, but a very special tzaddikim, superior to this madrege, Yoda Shemesh Mevoyoi, when he sets away. Rabbi Isai, one of those very, very special tzaddikim, who knew when they are going to go away, when it would be the Yom Istalkus, was the Friedrich Rebbe. As we know, months before, when he wrote a letter, a response, a letter to somebody, he signed it. For several months before, he signed his name. Yosef Yitzchok, one of the Yudin, was not only a scriptural a letter, but like printed in the Sefer Torah. A large letter. I'm sure everybody saw those signatures from the Friedrich Rebbe. And this was the Remes, which afterwards we found out, the Rebbe months before it was Barames, when it will be Yom Istalkus, it will be a day of Yud, a Yud Shevat. The Rebbe said, he used to go to the Rebbe, to Friedrich Rebbe to Shver, every Friday night. He used to speak all kind of inyonim. He says, this Friday night, when the next morning, Shabbos morning, the Friedrich Rebbe did Stalkus, the Rebbe spoke with him, Freilich, Lebedig, very much, about any Remes, what will be a few hours later. So the Rebbe said, obviously the Shver knew that what will be a few years later, they wanted to conceal from us. Why? He says, because if Chassidim would have known when he goes away, Chassidim could have stopped the Stalkus from Friedrich Rebbe. Of course, what the Chassidim would have stopped, it means himself. But anyways, the Friedrich Rebbe was one of those very, very, very special tzaddikim. But even David HaMelech, Haidenius Kitzi, in Hashem didn't want to reveal to him, and yet the Friedrich Rebbe knew exactly it will be Yud Shevat, Yud, the 10th month. It was Merames. We find also something very special about the Friedrich Rebbe, more than any other tzaddikim. He says in Kisva Rizal, a gilui of a neshama, when a neshama reveals himself to a person, is far greater than a Yanovi reveals himself. As we know, there's the year from Gilui and Yanovi. But if a neshama, not Gilui and Yanovi, a neshama comes to a person, it's a much higher Gilui than even Gilui and Yanovi. When the Friedrich Rebbe was Bar Mitzvah, before Bar Mitzvah, his father told him, should learn by heart 4 Maimorim. One day, just a few days before the Bar Mitzvah, he calls him in, the Friedrich Rebbe's son, and he says he should say over, review one of the Maimorim by heart, which he told him he should learn. So the Friedrich Rebbe said the Maimer, one of the 4 Maimorim. When he finished the Maimer, the Rebbe gestured that he wants to continue, he wants to speak further. But somebody suddenly came in. In the Sikha, it doesn't say who it was, but what I heard, it was the Rebbe's mother, the Rebbe Shab's wife. She was just come in suddenly, and she interrupted, so that the Rebbe Shab said, start to speak with this person. And afterwards, when this person left, so the Rebbe, the Shab said to the Friedrich Rebbe, you indicated you want to say something else. So say it now. So the Friedrich Rebbe started to say a Maimer, Hayordim Bayom B'Nio, started to say a Maimer, not of one of those 4 Maimorim which the Rebbe Shab instructed he should learn. As soon as the Rebbe Shab heard the beginning of this Maimer, the Rebbe Shab jumped up, started to tremble, became white, and he says, "When did you see my father?" In other words, the Rebbe Marash came to the Frierdiker Rebbe and told him and taught him another Maimer. This I heard him by Yom Boniois, and the Rebbe Shab asked him, "When did my father tell you this Maimer?" So Frierdiker Rebbe said when he told him, Rebbe Yisai, and the Rebbe Shab asked him, "How did you see my father?" B'cholam or b'hokitz? In a vision, or you saw him alive? So the Frierdiker Rebbe answered to his father, "I saw him b'hokitz." So the Rebbe Shab was trembling from awe. A bocher far bar mitzvah. As we know, when the Baal Shem Tov came to the Mediche Magid, he told him, "You should know who is coming to you. The son of Reb Baruch. He's 18 years old. Before 18, he had 3 times Gilead Novi." So Mediche Magid started to tremble because as you do it, before 40, nobody has a Gilead Novi. Yechid is going before 40. But before 18, should have 3 times Gilead Novi. Even Mediche Magid was completely awe-stricken. Here, Moira Boys, are speaking not Gilead Novi, need at the age of 40, another age of 18, only even before Bar Mitzvah. And the Shomich is infinitely higher. This is the Kisra Rizal. A Gil von Shomich is much higher than Gil von Novi. And this what came to the Rebbe Shab, and it was Behokitz. So here we see the Moedike Meile of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Number 1, he knew exactly when he's going away, and he had a Gilu from the Shomers Behokitz before Bar Mitzvah. Absolutely unbelievable. Let me tell you a Maise. Okay. This Meiser Beisai took place just 10 days before the Stalkus of the Frierdiker Rebbe. And from this Meiser you will see that the Rebbe knew exactly when his Stalkus, when he's going to pass away. There was in Bronx, in Tovshin Ches,
Guys, you don't know what you're missing. Just be quiet.
Rabbi Yisrael Moedike Meise, an incredible Meise. It was just there was a Rav in Bronx, one of the larger Beis HaKnesses in Bronx, a very choshev Rav. One of the Meshulachim from Eretz Israel came to him, called him up. He'd like to see him. He says because he wants to make an arrangement, he should be able to come to speak in his shul, should make a fundraiser in his shul. So he wants to discuss with him, he's choosing his moiset, and when it's appropriate time to come. So the Rav said to him, come tomorrow morning. You'll be able to see me tomorrow morning, I explain me the ganze moiset, the ganze function, and what you want to do, and I'll be able to speak with you tomorrow morning. This was in 1948. This Meshulach, a Chabadnik. A Meshulach came from Eretz Israel. He came to shul. He thought in the morning, after davening, the Rav will see him in his office. He went to his office, told him that the Rav is in the shul, he learns. was learning, sitting by the table. The Meshulach comes in, and the Rav said was sitting not by the head of the table, but the side of the table, not the head of the table. There was a chair at the head of the table, and this Meshulach was also a Rav. He thought if there's a chair available at the head of the table, they'll sit down near the Rav at the head of the table. The Rav was sitting by the side, and there's a chair at the head of the table, so he wanted to sit down by the head of the table. So the Rav tells him, the Rav from Bronx, no, in this chair nobody sits. Nobody's allowed to sit on this chair, nobody can sit. And then he asked him, so gave him another chair by the side of the table, but didn't allow him to sit at the head of the table on this chair. So he made arrangements when he should come, what day, and when there were people, he introduced him to all the gvirim that in the shul, and how to make the fundraiser. Then he said to this Meshulach, I see you are very much surprised that the chair is empty, not I sit on it, and I don't let anybody else sit. What's so special about this chair? So tells him a Maisa. He says, he is from Poland, a Polish Chosid. I lived in Poland. When the Germans invaded Poland, he went away, escaped from Poland, and he went to Russia. As he went to Russia, the Germans followed always into Russia also. So he went further and further and further until he reached all the way to Samarkand. Although he was a Polish Chosid, not a Chabad Chosid, but he saw Dan Hoge, the Yeshomayim, especially the Mesiras Nefesh of the Chabad Chassidim, so he became very much attached to Chabad. Although he remained a Polish Chosid, but he very much respected, appreciated, very much became attached to Chabad Chassidim. Came 1945, when the war ended, so all these Polish citizens, Russia allowed they should leave Poland, and so he left. With him also went many Lubavitch Chassidim with illegal. Last year I also spoke about from Przemysl, the Rebbe Beis, the ganze Nissim. So all the Russian Chassidim, how did they get out from Russia? With false papers that are Polish citizens. So he with Chabad Chassidim went from Russia to Poland. For Poland, he says he didn't find anybody. Everybody was completely, his whole mishpacha was wiped out. So he went to continue with the Chabad Chassidim, went to Parking in Germany, then went to Paris, and he spent there a while. Eventually, the Chassidim were divided into three groups. Some of the Chabad Chassidim went to Australia, some of the Chabad Chassidim went to Israel, and some of the Chabad Chassidim came to America. He chose to come with the Chassidim to America. He was in America. This came Tovshin Ches, 1948. He didn't know what to do here in America. All Chassidim went to Yechidus, to the Frierdiker Rebbe. So he also got a chance to go to the Frierdiker Rebbe, Tovshin Ches. He asked the Frierdiker Rebbe, what should he do? So the Rebbe answered him, I see that you're a Talmid Chacham, you're Bar Urion. Why don't you become a Rav somewhere here in New York City? Become a Rav, to lose for a position, a Rav in a shul. Was looking, and just at the end of Teves, just of Tovshin Tes, just a few days before Yud Shevat, he got an offer to become a Rav in this shul where he was, that's in Bronx. So he came to ask the Rebbe, would you take this offering, this position in the shul in Bronx? So he says when he came at the end of Teves, at the beginning of Shvat, he says he saw the Rebbe was very frail already, the Rebbe was very weak already, could hardly speak, and he asked the Rebbe, should he take this position? So the Rebbe closed his eyes for a while. The Frierdiker Rebbe was thinking. Then the Rebbe lifted up his head up, And then the Rebbe told him these words: "The Shul is a Shul, aber der Shabbos gleich ich nicht. The Shul is a Shul, the synagogue is a synagogue, but I don't like the Shabbos." So he was thinking, if the Rebbe said the Shul is a Shul, I should take the position. What do I care about the Shabbos? I didn't come to ask the Rebbe about the Shabbos. I didn't come to ask the Rebbe about the Gabbai. I came to ask the Rebbe I should take this position. So the Rebbe answered me, the Shul is a Shul, aber the Shabbos gleich ich nicht. I don't like the Shabbos. So as I was thinking, why does the Rebbe tell me this? So the Rebbe tells him again very sternly, the Shul is a Shul, the synagogue is a synagogue. However, the Shabbos I don't like. So he left, and he took the position. Yes, and before he left, the Rebbe tells him, to be sehr gleiche Sache, to be very appropriate, should come back to 770 in 2 weeks from now, on a Sunday. He took the position. He came back 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later was exactly Yud Shevat. When he came, he saw as the Oren HaKodesh was taken out from 770 for the Levaya. So he realized the Rebbe asked him he should come to his Levaya. He says he does not know why. What was his chus? What was so special? But the Rebbe told him it was again Kedai. He should come back to 770 in 2 weeks on a Sunday. That was the Levaya. But anyways, he took this position, the Beisai, and he was there for a year. Everything was okay. But slowly, the Shammai started to give him all kind of tzores. Before he became the Rav, and the previous Rav passed away, so the Shammai became like a semi-Rav. So he thought all kind of Barabatishkeit. When he took over, it's a competition. So gave Mami tzores through us for the new Rav. Everything complaining and make machlokes until the Rav, a year, 2 later, Mamish couldn't take it anymore. The machlokes, the tzores was so terrible, I couldn't take it anymore. So he decided he's going to leave. He can't take it. But the Rebbe said, I don't like the Shabbos. Now he saw what the Rebbe meant, I don't like the Shabbos. Rebbe Isai, before he left the shul, he decided he's going to ask our Rebbe, should he leave the shul or not? So he came to Yechidus and said to the Rebbe that he doesn't like the shul, he has a lot of tzores, a lot of agmas nefesh in the shul. He wants to leave the shul. So the Rebbe said to him, how can you do that? Didn't my Shver tell you the shul is a shul, but the Shabbos teugt nicht. The Shabbos is no good. So the Rebbe said, you should stay, but the Shabbos should go. So he was absolutely astounded. How did the Rebbe know? B'shas he went to Yechidus, and the Rebbe told the Friedrich told him, the shul is a shul, aber gleich in dem Shabbos, nobody was there, only he and the Rebbe. Nobody knew. How did the Rebbe know what the Friedrich Rebbe told him? So he absolutely saw who is the Rebbe. So the Rebbe told him, you have to stay and have to see the Shver said, the Friedrich Rebbe said, the Shabbos takes nicht, he should get out. He should leave. So I was thinking, how can we get rid of the Shabbos? But the Rebbe told him, you stay, the Shabbos should go. So what happened, Rabbi Isai? A few weeks afterwards, he said he always used to go to shul, 6 o'clock in the morning to daven, an hour before the minyan, he used to learn. One day, he went 6 o'clock to daven, and he sees the Gabbai and the president that also coming early. He didn't know why, but also came. And they come from a distance from the shul, they see the shul is illuminated, the light is on. So the Gabbai the president asked the Rav, who put out the light? He says, I don't know. So they go into the shul, and what do you see? Open the door. What do you see? The Shammai stands by the bima, and he empties all the stocke pushkas. The pushkas were full with money, and he was so immersed in this gneva that he didn't even notice the president and the Gabbai and the Rav are standing watching, and he emptied out all the pushkas and put in his pocket. So immediately the president went over, you are fired. So the Rebbe said, you have to go, so you should stay, but the Shabbos should go. Shabbos went. But this doesn't explain why didn't he let anybody sit by this table. So he continues to the Meshulach. You should know There's another part to the story. Behind the shul, there was a butcher store. And the butcher store, in 1949, a lot of Jews came to Bronx. So the butcher store expanded because many more customers needed a bigger space. Across the street was a building with a huge store. He decided he's going to buy this building. And he sold this shul, and this shul, the butcher store, was just behind the shul. Just behind the shul. So he decided he's going to sell the shul, the butcher store to the shul. The shul should also be able to expand, and he'll make another side, on the other side. But the boy side, the Gaboim, and the president, and the Rav all Batlonim, that sold it, everything was signed and sealed, but not legally, not notarized, not through a lawyer, just a ksafiat. He decided, this side, they sold it to Fartik. A few years later, the butcher store expanded to such extent it needed more space for storage, and he knew that legally is only, it was nothing legal, the documents. So he said, I only rented to you for the shul, but now I want back the shul. And they expanded, made it for the lady shul, with a library. He says, I want to get back the place. The boy say. So he said, but we sold it. This is Ishtamis, a shakran. She says, they argued with him, so he took him to court. The court, they couldn't produce any document, a legal document that was legally sold. So the judge said, you have to just remove yourself from this place, it belongs to him, and he gave him 2 weeks, and otherwise after 2 weeks there will be eviction. They couldn't do it in 2 weeks, and at night, when they came the final day, when they have to be removed from the shul, which is the butcher store, this Rav says to the Meshulach, I davened Ma'ariv, Gishet Mito mit tears, and the boy should help me, that we should not be evicted. And at night there's a cholim. As cholim, he sees the Friedrich Rebbe sits in his shul at this chair we did not anybody should sit. This chair the Friedrich was sitting, and the Rebbe stands near the chair, near the Friedrich Rebbe sits, and our Rebbe stands. He tells him, why are you afraid? Why are you Agbas Nefesh? Did the Shver tell you the shul is a shul and nothing will happen? Don't worry, the Rebbe said. A butcher store can become a shul, but a shul cannot become a butcher store. Now the shul should become a butcher store. Butcher can be a store. So don't worry, it will be atzloche. And he fell asleep, and usually he was up before 6 o'clock because he was in shul 6 o'clock. This time, he overslept, he came to shul only 8 o'clock. When he came to shul, he sees the marshal is there with all police, with the trucks, to evict them. As he sees what's going on, this big commotion, people are screaming. So suddenly, the butcher on the other side fell down in a puddle of blood. The chandelier, a heavy iron chandelier, fell from the ceiling, fell upon him, and crushed his skull in a puddle of blood. He fell in a coma and was revived. And he said, I have to admit this happened to me because I said a lie. The shul, that I didn't sell the shul. If I keep on telling the lie, I'll be killed. So then I admitted what the Rebbe told, that the shul is the shul. And anyways, Rabbi Isai, there's a much more to speak, but I can't compete with so many speakers, yes? So Mele, I want to speak much, a deeper opinion in those about the Yud Shevat, but unfortunately, Atkan, how do you to compete with so many speakers? Dem should helfen soll sein, Bekorf Mamesh soll sein, der Gil von Mashiach Tzidkenu und der Yigalenu, Bekorf Mamesh.
עכשיו יהיה לי קצר יש לשכונה. אני אראה לך את החיה שלכם שלכם.
Please sit down. There will be time for dancing also. Now there will be the video that we promised before. A fiery sikha about the matzav in the shchuna. The sikha which is now being given out is a Pesum Rishon. Also, at this time, we would like to thank two brothers which are helping the Farbrengen and other Farbrengens. Everyone please say L'chaim, L'schus, Amichai ben Mazal, and Shimon Kochav ben Mazal. They should have everything that their heart desires. Bonei, Chayim, Mezene, Bekulim, Revichai. And now please give your undivided attention to the screen. A sikha about the matzav, a short sikha, a clip about the matzav in connection to the shchuna of Crown Heights.
Hebt on der Rebbe mit Bossi Legani. Bossi Legani achese Carlo, Dr. Avdruse Mede Shraba van Ort, als Legani in Ksifkan. Novaden se steht Legani, Lignuni. Das ist Lemokim, Shohoya Yikre Batchilo. Und das, was man sagt bei jeder von uns, was mir alle seine Sachen der Hashvi, von dem alten Reben, was Kol Hashvi in Chivivim, Chotscha Film hat das nicht verdient und hat das nicht ausgehört wird. Nur wenn dann der ganze Chivivim ist, war das der Hashvi. Es hat nach uns herumgelegt, wir sollen Mamschür sein. Wir hier haben Flamat. Siehst du, es ist einer Dover Tolo Jelle Bonn. Und das, was sich jeder von uns, das, was wir sagen, alle Kol Hashvin, haben wir sich alle die Chvivis, Ibn Here, Biamine Bagole, die da, und Lamata Masoret Fochen, sollen wir alle sicher sein. Sag sehr mit mir reden. Und da sollen sie alles nehmen von Kolus Aruch Nivagashmi und bringen uns zu der Gila Schleima beim Herr Biamino. Tomalecho nafshi Tomalecho besori Ve'yeretz yoyevni moyi Holy rois uschoch voidecho Teve Pesken gebrochen, aber die Balda, das hat die Schchuna, und das hat der Huis, was der Neschech, Esser, schon im Achrinis, und Chaim Chayosse, Balmodei, hat da gelernt und da gedammt, und da gewinnt Achillosse, und Stiyosse, Vishinosse, was wie der Rambam sagt, in der Ruf, Niker, das hat getan Achoch, Stam Achoch, Alachas kama vechama, chochma, wie sie verbunden mit der Nosse Adei. Es verstandig und bepashtus, Azafo Piva, das sie Gold, Hotak Boles, mit Didis Bechulu, Daten Tom Kol Hoefschri, Ado soll sein nicht Eichet, das wird mit Tesaf, in der Svivo, Shemisovi, von die Dalle Dames, und alle Damen sind auch das Scholei Kol Habayis, Kol Achotze, וכו'. Und der Fall ist, mit Gitmen das Siebe, die, wo seine Scheich ist, der Habayis, Elam Azeh, also soll machen an Asifot Chufo. Wie man schon mit sich gerät, was nach Reinchappen, Alayla, Ebach, Acharayim, Bekeshet, keine Sire, Bashlomuso, auf schön mal ohne ihm zu tun in Tochni ist, da Begashmis, wo auf Bederach Ateva sollen können verbessert werden, die Boten, wo seine schön in der Schune, auf wie sie seine gewähren Reue bei Dira Sodom bisiste, soll sie werden Reue bei Dira Sodom bei Achovo, die, wo seine nie gewähren Reue bei Dira Sodom, sollen sie machen, als sie sollen werden die Reue bei Dira Sodom, und als Schettach Tonui sollen suchen Eises, und Eises bederach Atev, und der Baal Amase war Gula, war sicher, bis Ayei sein, und noch mehr, da sichere Sache, amit Matzliach sein, mit so dort tun, wo in Binyonim, Diris und Binyonim, wo dort sollen kommen sich besetzen, Hilche Bidroche, und Bechesol, wo der Funde sich verstanden, als welche das Atei, als man die Dei zu vergiere, die Schuhe so, darf man lernen, was never Geld, wo mit sich sicher gern Geld mit sich werden lernen in der Diro, ist nur sehr, was darf nicht Kaddisch sein, die Schama-Schule. Und da weiß man, dass Amokin, was schon, Joschav, oder schon, den Ehle dort gleich zu lernen, und man darf nicht suchen, Schätz, Eise, Schuhe, und Schäne. Wo wird man bekommen, als so viel Geld, die Leute kaufen, Adire so.
oder zu Dingen Nadire. Und dann noch gibt mir Nadire in Eiche Teise, in welches es fällt, die in Jahren mit jenen in Jahren, und Sommer hat Ateine, sagt man, du hast noch Ateine, du lebst doch in der Schöne von der Sidereine, von dem Reden schwer. Ich sage, Fieber, was du lebst in Asuki, das Teiche zu so, kam er vor den Kocher. Wer hat noch am Tut mit dir a Teile, und mir geht Gott dir a dir, sag er, Logerisserin, man Logerisserin, und sie liebt der Dach, und da war der Pravot, ist nicht zu Dorf, wo Chulu was was noch ihn überhaarig in der Dworin, haben Zarim und Avhili. Zwischen den Jungen, wo das verbindet wird mit der Hete Hakiru, Recheiti, der Adrade, wenn geht zu Kreiven, liegt das Punktverkehr. Sichere Kavanosse Kreiven soll sein, lernen Geld auf gute Sachen, man nimmt aber nicht, man nimmt nicht ein Geld durch den Ruf, was man macht, da jeden schwer im Leben, na, so eine Schwierigkeit, wo der Ewigkeit dafür nicht herumgerät. Die dure Teile von den Typchen, was sie sorgen, also sie sagen, Schachen zu sorgen, tun jede Sache auf die Friede ist, kommen sie an, was macht es so, dass das Reden liegen, das habe der alte Rebbe zugepasst und in die Gerde erklärt. Wo es dafür zulassen, als ein Mann in dem Reisen die Geld, der Teil sei Schluch, ich schon mochte, und nur wird dem Reichen die Geld und machen ihm schwer auf dem Herzen und schwer dem Leben und nur die sein Schollen bei, die sie gewähnt ist sehen, also am gelohnt Geld, ich habe sie gewähnt der Linie, es war großen Blut, ich sage, darfst du das zahlen, von dem Doktor, was den Makis Damm, und hat den Makis Damm gewähnt, bezahlen, für was ist das? Weil der selber nicht geben an einen. Man kann aber nicht warten, bis wann es damit werden Schuhe schlimmer und verlassen sich nicht, was so die, was haben sich nicht nahe gewählt. Diesen Kosé, mit der gleich allein mit den Stühlen, kann du verlieren, da hat nie für die Kufer die Schöne besetzt. Wo sein noch die, mit welchen man schon gerät wegen dem. Gleich noch in Leile, Rele, Chacharaye, und kein Messire, Baschlamusse, der Jem Chamisch, also, Bechedesh, die wollen gleich machen, dass sie vertrufen. Aber Piva, das Chazach, was da vorgetan werden, mit der Jachschus und mit der Seder, und mit der Buin, die Binyonen, oder mit der Bessen, die Binyonen, mit Schatten sein, die Binyonen. Der Kajitze Basel und Neche, Belitake, Seitze, aber es soll kosten, die muss man sich dahinter reinkleiden, oder auf der Chamitzua, und Matei, wo man neu, wie bald aber das Rettung in der Schune, von der Siede Reino, wo jetzt ist nun bei seinem Vater den Kneier, sein Land in die Sies, und hat gepäht, als ein Land in die Sies, das aber, dass wir sein, Bechesse zu berachen, darf sein Lechit, oder die Preisen, die Bechesse zu berachen. Die Jache, den selber, dass sie sein, Adira, nur, wo sie im Archiv, und da ist es schon, und sie immer passen, Kopf im Brot. In Sie, Bechesse, von der Sies gebrochen.
After such a shlicha about the matzav of the shchuna, rent, buying houses, we'd like to take the opportunity to ask everyone to say l'chaim for the first shlema ukrovet to our old resident of the shchuna, Yosef ben Masuda. You should have easy recovery from a heart attack. Have brius nechaino refuah shlema ukrova Yosef ben Masuda lechaim. עכשיו ידבר הרב כהן ממונטריאול, ראש מרכז מד"א, מרכז דוברי עברית במונטריאול. הרב כהן יושב פה משעה 7, מתחילת ההתוועדות הוא יושב. אנחנו מבקשים התנצלות. הרב חיים שלמה כהן ידבר בלשון הקודש, ומבקשים מכל המשתתפים שמי שאוזניים להם ולא ישמעו, אז שיקוים הפסוק פה להם ולא ידברו. אם אתה לא מקשיב, לפחות אל תדבר. בעזרת השם שאלו שמקשיבים גם כן לא ידברו. בכבוד רב, הרב כהן ראש מרכז דוברי עברית במונטריאול, ולאחר מכן תהיה סיומת בצרפתית, עוד מישהו שידבר בצרפתית. בבקשה לשמור על השקט.
לחיים. לחיים, לחיים. כשעומדים במקום קדוש זה 4 אמות של הרבי מלך המשיח, בזמן שכל אחד מאיתנו מצפה, מקווה, ומי מאיתנו לא קיווה להשתתף בשעה הזו בהתוועדות של הרבי. הגעגועים, הציפייה שנשמע עוד פעם את הרבי, הרי זה ממלא את כל ההוויה שלנו, לפחות צריך למלות. אבל הגעגועים האלה, הכאב הזה, צריך להתבטא במה הרבי אומר לנו, מה לעשות שכן נשמע את הרבי עוד הפעם. הרבי מלך המשיח, מהמאמר הראשון התווה לנו תוכנית פעולה. אבי עליו השלום סיפר, כשהרבי אמר את המאמר הראשון והביאו את המאמר לרבל ולבריסקר, אז הוא אמר, כנראה שהאברך הזה מחזיק שהוא משיח. החסידים לא כל כך קלטו את זה, אבל מאויבי תחכמני, המסנגדים קלטו מיד מהו המסר. שהרבא במאמר הראשון נתן לנו תוכנית פעולה איך שכל אחד מאיתנו יביא את הגאולה הפנימית ואת הגאולה הכללית. מה שיותר שנים עברו, היו יותר גילויים עצמיים. התוכנית הפעולתית שלנו שהרבא התווה לנו יותר ויותר התגלתה באופן יותר פרטנית, אבל ביחד עם זאת יותר עצמותית ועצם. הרבא גילה אצל כל אחד מאיתנו שזה לא רק עבודה של כוחות פנימיים, אלא צריכה להיות העבודה עם עצם הנפש. הרבא גילה לנו שמה זה רבא? עצמות ומיעוט בתגוף גשמי. הרבא גילה לנו שהגאולה היא בעיקר במציאות הפיזית הגשמית שמגלה את מציאותו מעצמותו. ואת כל הדברים האלה הרבא נתן לנו תוכנית פעולה איך ומה לעשות. וכשהרבא אומר לנו אני את שלי עשיתי, עשו כל מה שביכולתכם, חס ושלום להגיד שהרבא זורק לנו את הכדור, עכשיו אתם תטפלו, אני לא יכול לעשות יותר. הרבא אומר לנו שגאולה זה דבר שצריך להיות של כל אחד מאיתנו. הגאולה לא רק צריכה לגאול את כל אחד מאיתנו, הגאולה היא צריכה להיות של כל אחד מאיתנו. והרבא אומר לנו איך אנחנו בפועל עושים שהגאולה תהיה שלנו. והרבא נותן שתי נקודות כלליות. נקודה אחת, קבלת עול. כל הנקודה של מלך המשיח זה קבלת עול מלכותו יתברך. במה זה מתבטא, אומר הרבא? שהחיים הם לא סתם חיים, אלא החיים הם חיים עצמיים, שהיא לא משתנה, היא לא תלויה בגילוי או בהלם, היא חיים עצמיים. איפה זה מתבטא אצלנו? בהתבטלות של כל אחד מאיתנו לאמת שבתוכו, למשיח שבתוכו, ולרבא ולמשיח הגדול, שזה נקודה אחת. הנקודה הראשונה שיהודי מתחיל את היום זה מודה אני. אומר לנו הרבא שעוד לפני המודה אני יש את העצם של למעלה מהכל. נקודה שנייה שהרבא אומר, וזה הרבא מסביר לנו מה זה צבא וצבאות השם. כל אחד מאיתנו הוא חלק מחיילי בית דוד. מה זה חייל? אומר לנו הרבא, חייל יודע שהסיבה שיש לו ראש כדי להחזיק את הפס של הרובה, שזה לא יגלוש למטה, אבל אין לו ראש לחשוב. הרבא אומר לנו מה צריך להיות המחשבות שלנו, לא שלנו, להתבטל לגמרי למלך, שזוהי הנקודה הראשונה של הכתרת המלך. שזה הנקודה האמיתית של החיים, שזה יחי המלך, שכל אחד מתמסר בכל ההוויה שלו, בכל המהות שלו, בכל העצם שלו, ויש רק נקודה אחת, המלך, המשיח, שהוא אחד עם הקדוש ברוך הוא. אחר כך הרב דורש מאיתנו נקודה שנייה במה זה צריך להתבטא, והרב אומר זה צריך להתבטא באהבת ישראל ואחדות ישראל, לראות בכל יהודי שהוא בעצם החצי השני, שזה הקדוש ברוך הוא. והרב אומר כמו בצבא, מה זה חייל? יש כלל אחד שחייל לא עושה שום דבר לבד, רק המפקד. ונקודה שנייה בחייל, שכל רגע מוכן למסור את נפשו בשביל חייל אחר ללא שום חשבונות. אומר הרב שהתפקיד שלנו בתור חיילי בית דוד שצריך להביא את הגאולה, כל אחד מאיתנו צריך לטכס עצה לחשוב. אם הרב עושה לנו תוכנית בעבודת בית, איך כל אחד מאיתנו מביא את הגאולה הפרטית והגאולה הכללית, וצריך פשוט לחשוב בפועל ממש. אם הרב אומר שכדי להביא את הגאולה בפועל, כדי לצאת מהגלות הפרטית, צריך קבלת עול. מה אני עשיתי ומה אני מתכנן לעשות שהקבלת עול זה יהיה המהות שלי, זאת תהיה נקודת האמת של החיים שלי, לא משהו סובב, משהו רגשי שעולה ויורד ומשתנה, לא משהו שכלי שאפשר להבין ככה ואפשר להבין הפוך. המציאות האמיתית תהיה קבלת עול, כשאנחנו אומרים יחי אדוננו מורנו ורבנו מלך המשיח, שזאת תהיה באמת התמסרות וקבלת עול מלכותו יתברך, שתהיה התמסרות של קבלת עול שבה לא יכול להיות שינויים, התמסרות עצמית שהיא חודרת לכל המהות שלנו, ואז גם הרצון הוא רצון של קבלת עול, השכל הוא שכל של קבלת עול, הרגש הוא קבלת עול. כל המציאות הופכת נקודה אחת של מלך המשיח. והצד השני, אומר הרב, זה כשיש אהבת ישראל אמיתית, שזה לא מספיק שאני עושה את זה עם עצמי, אלא אני רואה את הנקודה הזאת אצל כל יהודי ומגלה את זה. אז לחיים לחיים, שכל אחד מאיתנו ביום הקדוש הזה, ביום סגולה, יום שהרב מקבל את המלכות והוא מחכה שאנחנו נכתיר אותו בהתמסרות האמיתית, באמת האמיתית שלנו, ובכוחו של הרב שהוא נותן לנו את הכוח ואת האפשרות, אבל הוא מבקש מאיתנו בתור רגליים שנוליך את הראש למקום שהרגליים צריכות להיות קשורות אל הראש. אז לחיים לחיים, שנתעורר בהתעוררות אמיתית ושנכתיר את הרב עם כל האמת, ושהרב יתגלה תכף ומיד ממש. לחיים לחיים.
Bemeinen l'shayles Rabbim about the Seder. Achren Choviv. We're going to have a French speaking speaker for all the guests that came from Tzofas. Like we know the famous word that the Rebbetzin said, it appears in the Sicha, Mugadike Sicha of the Rebbe Tovshin and Beis. Rebbetzin said to one of the Shluches, if I'm not mistaken, it was Mrs. Azimov Aleh HaSholem, as mir oben geackert und gesät, we plowed and planted and you're now collecting the fruits that we see here, all the guests which are coming from Medina Sofas, Baalei Tshuva, Mekurovim, Tumimim, Bochrim, all penetrated with this kashrus to the Rebbe. Afterwards we will have benching, and then we will continue the Farbrengen, small Farbrengen. Rabbi Cohen from Montreal will be Farbrengen in the Ma'ariv side of 770, amongst other people which will be Farbrengen over here. We will call upon Rav Duri Amram Ishliach in Paris, in the city Simcha Brice. They will speak in French. Please, even if you don't understand, we will try to translate afterwards. Rav Duri Amram Shliach Besimcha Brice, Ir Liat Paris.
נגיד כמה מילים בצרפתית, רק בשביל לכבד הצרפתים.
There will be enough time to dance and sing afterwards, please. A few more minutes. Chassidim seien doch beile Mishmas. Bitte.
Chaim, tout d'abord, je ne sais pas pourquoi Akadosh Baruch Hu m'a envoyé devant ce micro. Et bien, Ashgacha Pratit, j'ai été Zoché Begoral au Chabad Lubavitch à Paris. Et je me suis retrouvé ce matin dans l'avion pour Yud Shevat. Juste une petite histoire qui va refléter le sujet de Yud Shevat. C'est un jour un chassid qui a été envoyé par Admor Hazaken, comme le rabbi parle beaucoup dans Batilegani du Admor Hazaken qui était le premier rabbi. Il a été envoyé à travers les différentes villes jusqu'en Eretz Israël pour aller diffuser la chassidoute. Et il y avait là-bas un juif qui apprenait la Torah, qui étudiait la Torah Yomam Valayla, s'appelait Reb Leizer. Et quand il a entendu des paroles de chassidoute, ça lui a donné une tellement grande envie qu'il a tout quitté, sa famille, et il s'est sauvé à Liozna. On m'a demandé de raccourcir, donc je vais faire l'histoire un peu plus courte. Finalement, il est arrivé à Liozna en lâchant tout ce qu'il avait, la parnassa, tout ce qu'il pouvait avoir, la famille, tout le monde a tout lâché pour aller à Liozna. Alors, quand les chassidim ils se sont assis avec lui au Farbrengen, ils lui ont demandé, mais qu'est-ce que tu as trouvé déjà dans la chassidoute pour arriver à tout lâcher pour venir à étudier avec chassidoute? Alors il a répondu comme ça. Il a dit, avant j'avais une question, et maintenant j'ai encore une autre question. Mais la réponse aux deux questions c'est la même. Avant j'avais une question, comment c'est possible qu'Akadosh Baruch Hu il va trouver une place pour moi dans le Gan Eden? Arrête, j'étudie Yomam Valayla sans cesse. Et je suis tellement grand que même la place à côté de Moshe Rabbeinu elle est trop petite pour moi. Alors je me suis donné une réponse, c'est qu'Hachem il est Kol Yachol, Hachem il est capable de tout. Alors il est capable aussi de me faire une place qui me revient. Après quand j'ai étudié Chassidoute, alors je me suis posé une autre question. C'est comment Akadosh Baruch Hu il fait pour me supporter? Comment ça se fait qu'il prend pas une pierre, il me la lance sur la tête et c'est tout? Parce que je suis tellement petit, tellement je vaux rien. Et la seule réponse que j'ai trouvée, c'est qu'Hachem il est Kol Yachol, Dieu il est capable de tout. Et il est capable aussi de me supporter. Batilegani, le rabbi, quand il a lancé ce Batilegani, il nous a appris quelque chose d'exceptionnel. Il a dit que nous, on est le Dor Hashvi. Et nous, on a la chance de pouvoir faire descendre la Géoula ici-bas dans ce monde-là. Des gens comme nous, que nous, on pourrait se poser la question, mais qu'est-ce qu'on a de mieux? Au contraire, il faut tout le koach hakol yachol pour nous supporter. Et quand même, le Rebbe, il nous a donné comme responsabilité que c'est nous qu'on va faire descendre la Géoula. Et bien sûr, comme le Rabbi il a dit, Shabbat Parashat Vayeshev, Vayishlach et Vayeshev, Tafshin Nunbet, le Rabbi il a parlé sur la France. On sait très bien que la Haftara, elle dit Ad Galut Sorfat, jusqu'à l'exil de la France. Et ça, c'est lié avec le 770, c'est lié avec cette maison, la maison du Mashiach, puisqu'on sait très bien que 770, c'est valeur numérique de Sorfat, qui est la France. Alors non seulement on est dans le Dor Hashvi, non seulement que le Rebbe, il a exigé de nous qu'on va descendre à Géoula, et en plus on est cette année le 7e chapitre, puisqu'on est en Tafshin Ayin Zayin, donc on est le 7e chapitre, Ikol Hashvin Chavivin, comme le Rabbi ramène dans le Mamar de Lamed Zayin. Mais en plus on est français, et parce qu'on est français, alors on a une chance que le Rabbi nous a donné à nous, et qu'il a donné pas aux autres, que la France elle a la possibilité de faire venir la Géoula plus que tout le monde. Alors qu'on prenne cette chance avec nous, qu'on prenne avec nous, qu'on utilise ces forces que le Rebbe nous a données, ce sourire que le Rebbe il a fait spécialement aux Français pendant le moment de Hanouka quand on était devant les vidéos. Le Rebbe il a encouragé spécialement les Français. Le Rebbe il a remboursé le billet des Français qui venaient chez le Rabbi quelques années. Le Rebbe il a fait tellement de choses pour les Français, alors qu'on utilise cette force-là pour qu'on dise ensemble, nous les Français, qu'on dise ensemble au Rabbi que vive le Rabbi, roi Mashiach pour l'éternité, et que tout de suite on puisse vivre ce moment de Géoula Amitit Vashlema. Aderet Vaemona Lechaye Abina Vabracha Lechaye Lamed.
לפני שנברך רציתי לספר סיפור על הבן אדם שעמד פה לפני רגע. הוא אפילו לא יודע. הוא הבן אדם שהביא אותי לישיבה. הוא אחד מהאנשים הוא האדם שגרם לי להיכנס לישיבת יום חתמים מלובביץ' בברנואה, ולכן אני פה היום. והוא אפילו לא יודע את זה. זו הוראה מאוד גדולה בבחורים, אז תקשיבו טוב. השליח איפה שגרתי באותה תקופה בצרפת, נסע פה לכינוס השלוחים, והיה צריך מישהו שיתחזק את בית חב"ד במשך אותה שבת. אז הוא הזמין 3 בחורים מישיבת ברנואה, שיבואו, אחד יקרא בתורה, אחד ייתן דרשה, אחד ימסור שיעור. אני הייתי אז בן 13, בן 14, בן 15, אני כבר לא זוכר. אמנם הייתי קצת מקורב, אבל אי אפשר לקרוא לי חב"דניק, לא יודע אם אפשר לקרוא לי חב"דניק עכשיו. והוא התוועד במשך השבת, היה קידוש, והוא התוועד ודיבר על חסידס ועל הישיבה ועל ברנואה, ובסוף אותה פרברנגן הוא אמר, למה לא תבוא ליום ראשון? אז באתי. יום ראשון אמרתי להורים שלי שהחלטתי לנסוע אליהם, יום ראשון לא לומדים בכל מקרה, אני אסע לאיזו ישיבה, תיסע. מה כבר יכול לקרות, נכון? מה כבר יכול לקרות? נסעתי לישיבה, ואחרי יום אחד החלטתי שפה אני רוצה להיות. זה לקח קצת זמן, קצת ויכוחים, הרבה צעקות, כמה חודשים טובים גם כן, אבל בסופו של דבר נכנסתי ללמוד בישיבת תומכי תמימים לובביץ' בברנואה, ולמדתי שם כמה וכמה שנים טובות, ואז חזרתי כשליח וכולו וכולו, וזה הכל מגיע מבן אדם שאפילו לא יודע מה הוא פעל. אז הנה ראיה ניצחת, לפעמים אנחנו עושים משהו, אנחנו אומרים מילה לבחור, אנחנו אפילו לא יודעים לאיפה זה עלול להוביל. כפי שאמרנו קודם, צריך לפעול עכשיו, וכל אחד ואחד צריך לפעול בתחום שלו, לא לוותר על אף יהודי. עכשיו נברך, ולאחר מכן יהיה המשך ההתוועדות, שירה וזמרה וריקודים, מתוך התוועדות חסידית כל הלילה.
Hallo, hallo.
darf machen a Brach achreiner, sicher machen a Brach achreiner.
Rabbi sein wir wollen Menschen. Ich habe immer ein anderer Teil. Aber ich soll ihm sagen, Shlo. Bogen ihm sagen, Shlo. Du musst da nice an der Kunde kommen. Da neue Lage zahlen wir Sachen. Nee, schleimen können wir mit, dann haben wir noch knappe schleimen. gaat mij alleen maar gelamber op je gaffen. בשם הקהל אני רוצה להודות לרב נגזיאל על ההנחיה 5 שעות, יישר כוח, יישר כוח.
כאב לי. סליחה, מה אמרתי? בן אדם.